Hello, wherever you are, and thank you for joining me, and welcome to the podcast. I am your host, Michael Sylvia, your morning star, your archangel. Yeah. All right. So I want to get into conspiracy. I love conspiracy theories, especially when we know they're right. Right? There's all kinds of them. There's ones that are right, the ones that are wrong, or should I say the ones that are true, the ones that are just bullshit, and there's other ones where there's truth, but there isn't. It's all interwoven between the two. So, oh yeah, here's one for you, real quick. Because remember the last time I had, oh yeah, by the way, the Mayan calendar right here, 2012 Mayan calendar. You gotta love it. By the way, it was found in the Americas, right? South America. So, land of the plum serpent, Americu. There's Americu, Native American, Americu, America, land of the plumed serpent. Okay. So, pyramids, ancient pyramids at Giza. So, one theory was that, before I get into that one, happy 420. So, with the pyramids being built, the Giza pyramids, forget all the rest of them. There's all different stories, each one of them, but the three ones of Giza, when they say, how did they build them? They use sound, right? They get all like trying to get all euphoric with you on the TV. Sound, and you're like, yeah, it must have floated then, and they make you believe that shit. But really, here's what the sound sounded like. It sounded like this. It's like when you're pulling a bunch of fucking weight. It's like you sound like you're trying to take a shit. Heave. You got like 600 dudes, like 600 guys for a 6,000 pound stone or whatever the fuck it was. They have the measurements figured out how many people it was per tons of blocks, which is quite a bit. All right. But anyways, yeah, they didn't make them float, and that's what it sounded like. So, not fun to build one of those big, gigantic things. And by the way, and I love it when people are like, well, yeah, we did make a pyramid like that, but it was like way smaller. It's like, yeah, but if he didn't make it the exact same size with all the freaking exactly how it is, then he didn't duplicate it. You just made a small version, and that doesn't count. You got to do it the way they did it back then, however that was. The amount of time it took, the amount of people, all of that. That's basically it. But anyways, and by the way, one more time with the ancient Egypt. Like I said, look at the continent of Africa. It's a huge, massive continent. It's gigantic. All through Africa, you're not going to find any pyramids anywhere. Zero. But you get to the very end in Egypt, which is a piece of Africa, not all of Africa. Because I had a guy telling me, oh, it's all of Africa. It ain't all of Africa, dude. Sorry to break your fucking heart on that shit. The rest of Africa was trying to move up out of Africa by walking through Egypt. Well, then you got captured up, and you got to help build those pyramids. So what they was doing, they were doing that to everybody, anyone else. If they were coming from the north in there, snatch them up too. So that's what that environment was. The end. Isn't that interesting? And then from that, you had all the writings and the spirituality and the religions and the gods and the pharaohs. And then wasn't there one pharaoh where he wanted it to be all him. There's no gods but just that one guy. And of course, the whole population was like, who the fuck is this egotistical asshole? And he just chiseled his fucking face off and everything else. And then just still some statues of him around, Ukanakan or whatever the fuck his name was. But that's how it goes. And yeah, they had science back then. But anyways, ancient Egypt, they all believed in the psychology, the spirituality, the science of their times. And And like I said, you look at all the pyramids in Giza, all the small ones that are, all the small little dinky ones that they built around. Excuse me for moving the camera there. All of the small dinky little pyramids that were built around the three big pyramids of Giza, because they say in history that the three big ones were built last and all the little ones were built first. But you can always say that that's debatable. It's easily debatable because all those little ones around the big ones, built around the big ones, all right, all have bodies in them, all have artifacts, and they all have writings in them and shit. And they have way less attractive. They're way less attractive when you look on the inside and everything. Go on the inside of those, it's like a fucking cave. You go inside the inside of the three big ones, the three ones of Giza, immaculate, perfect edge stones and shit. Just too fucking perfect, too fucking sweet. So anyways, when you look inside the big three pyramids of Giza, the three pyramids that align with Orion's belt, like I said, um, in those pyramids, remember, as reported history says, um, no pharaohs, no bodies, even if you want to go aliens or whatever, any artifacts, any type of, if anything, any of science they would have had could have been, would have been stored in those time capsule tomb pyramids. But they say no writings on the walls, nothing in there, just an empty nothing. Now you really think they built three of those things just like that, gigantic, right? Aligned with Orion's belt, a man, Osiris, right? Built by men, right? Next to the Nile River, which is aligned with the Milky Way, right? So it's all astronomically aligned. The universe is connected in every single aspect, from the smallest molecule to the biggest, right? To the universe itself. And then here we are in this experience, saying that the symmetry of those pyramids, the symmetry of them being made, the symmetry of them being aligned, so all of that connecting in formation, and the fact that it's even there, that this is here. It's all a miracle, and it's all pre-programmed. No matter how you look at it. Nature pre-programs everything. So anyways, like I said, you mean to tell me, this is my opinion, you mean to tell me that they went in those three pyramids, those big gigantic ones, the ones that we could talk about the ones in South America too, right? Those are badass. They're all the pyramid of the sun, the pyramid of the moon, the pyramid of the feathered serpent, all of them. Don't get me wrong, even the ones in India or the ones in Thailand, all these other ones, they're immaculate. Don't get me wrong, in the art, and it's just fantastic. Like, how? But they're all actually way after the age of these pyramids in Giza that I'm continuing to talk about. Now, the ones around the world I just mentioned, even the mud pyramids they found all through China, right? Or the ones they found in the southern parts of North America, all got bodies, all got things going on around them, right? All after the fact of the ones from Giza, where everything spawned from. If we're talking about everything being evolutionized and created out of Africa, which is the tipping point, the tip of Africa, which is Egypt, right? Everything spawns out of there and it keeps rebuilding. Who knows? And then races continue, and things are seeded. You can't say that's not possible, because anything's possible. So, like I said, you go inside those gigantic pyramids, all the astronomy connected, the science, the math, the ingenuity, the fact that they're still there, the oldest structures on the fucking planet, and there they are. And there's nothing in them. So, There it is. So I just say, like, when everyone's wondering, when it's always connected, all the aliens and everything to that, then if that's what they found in there, then hey, who knows? Nobody knows. We'll never know. Shit, they're still trying to find out what happened with JFK, let alone what happened in 10,000 BC or 10,500 BC, because basically that's what it is. Like when you're looking at the pyramids age, they're going on old graffiti in the very bottom of the pyramid. That's it. That's why. So that's why we have graffiti and it goes to this age, and that's why, because you can't date the stone itself. It's got to be something in the pyramid. There's nothing in it but graffiti, and that's all you got. So because of the graffiti, because of all the smaller pyramids around them, they say between 4,000 2,000 BC. But when we're talking about astronomical alignments, and the fact that they were totally into that, and they did name stars and all that stuff, and they did build them to that point with Orion, now you're looking at 10,000 BC. Now that's when they are made. Now you got to go past that for how long it took for them to get built. All the people had to come together. The fact that it all had to come together perfectly. So, you can't beat that. And it's interesting how Osiris, their god, they call what they believed, who walked the earth amongst with them, with the elongated skull and the snake on the forehead, and then the snake itself. A snake also has a third eye too. Let alone you have the snake for the third eye, reptilian part of the brain. On it goes. Mother Nature gave birth to dinosaurs first, right? Multiple times. So, yeah, so it's interesting how all that is, and then how, in ancient Egypt, also what we got from ancient Egypt, the domestication of cats and dogs, right? Especially cats, where they mummify them because they love them so much. Come home, you got your cat, your fur baby. And then, what else do we have here? So, yeah, and don't forget about the invention of alcohol. I know everybody loves alcohol. I'm not a drinker myself. I don't drink alcohol. I'm into 420 personally. But alcohol, it was something for the slaves way back then, building pyramids, building structures, and then enjoying life. And then the pharaohs and then the priests, all them were doing their thing. What they were doing was inscribed on their walls that hasn't been found. Water lilies and things like that. And the water lily basically has psychedelic properties, and it would just expand the minds that way. Just like expanding the universe. So, anyways, yeah. Yeah, that's a little interesting joke. Yeah, so since Egypt is the only little escape route out of Africa, to get in and out, you had to get through Egypt, which pretty much you got enslaved and educated, or however it worked out for you, and that kind of makes the pyramids the butt plugs of Africa, you know. Gotcha. And anything trying to get in Africa, got you too, And then Egypt finally fell down after a while, right? Because then you had the Greeks, then you had the Romans, and here we are today. And then really, if you think about all the royalties, all of that's pretty much still related into today's times. Let's take the word pretty much out of it. It's related into today's times. We're all still here. So yeah, so conspiracy. Oh yeah, so JFK. I even mentioned that one, right? We love John F. Kennedy. He's from. I mean, I'm from New England, so you gotta love your people. So John F. Kennedy, November 22nd, 1963. You know, so I look at it this way. When you look at it with numbers, because I'm into the paranormal too, and then there's like the death cult codes and things like that. So when you look at the numbers, um, November 22nd, 1963. So you have 11/22/1963. So 11/22 is number 12 and number 12. And 12 years is for the Nazis, right? And then you got 1963. And then the 1 and 3 are the number 13s. The number 13. The number 13 is for 1/3 of God's angels, right? Which is the fallen angels. And the 6 and the 9, 9s or 6s, 666. So it gets dark like that for that day. And then you're on Elm Street, Nightmare on Elm Street. JFK, FK, Freddy Krueger, Elm Street. J, the hook. The J is like a hook, gets you into the story. So, Elm Street, 1963. November 22nd, John F. Kennedy is in the car, right? He's got the motorcade and everything going on. And so before we go into the assassination part, let's talk about Lee Harvey Oswald. Lee L. Harvey H. Oswald O. If the H is an I, backwards, you got oil. Right? So he was set up, programmed, I guess. So basically what happens is Lee Harvey Oswald, first he gets the gun in the mail, right? He gets his gun in the mail. He's in the school. He goes in the school book depository, the library. Goes all the way up to the 6th floor, 666, the 6th floor, right? Now, what gave him the ideas to go up there? And so from what I understand, for all that information that's out now that wasn't available back then when they had their hearings and whatnot, less information available at this time, is that basically, give me a minute here. Yeah, so that basically Lee Harvey Oswald, so when people say that he couldn't make the shots, the 5 to kill at JFK, certainly he could. He wasn't that far away. I forget the exact distance now, but like, it's like people can make it. He was a Marine. He fired guns. He knows how to fucking fire a gun. He doesn't have to be the fucking greatest. He just has to be good enough. Got the fucking job done. Blew the man's head off, right? And probably also had help, which I have to agree with that. He didn't do it all by himself. So anyways, Lee Harvey Oswald, for what reasons be known, I guess he turned communist, my opinion. But he does go to Russia. He does go to the communists, and he does try to defect to Russia. Russia tells us, here's a rabbit ears, they tell us that he wanted to, but fuck him. When all along, they probably just told us that, and yeah, he does work for them. And then he comes back with a Russian wife. So here he comes with her from Russia. With communist ideas. Sucks. So he's here. I guess he also shot at a general, they said, right? He shot at a general. And And then he also went to Mexico to a Russian embassy for a little while, right before the assassination, and comes back. And then the whole setup comes together. JFK's in the car with no hood on, waving at everybody. So, wife right next to him. All right. So, so, uh, so, um, so they go down Elm Street. He's on the 666th floor, the sixth floor, right? Fires off his shots, kills the president. Maybe there is, from whatever I remember reading a book. I forget what the name of the book was, but basically what they did was is that it said in the book that what they did is that when they did the investigation on the JFK assassination, is that all the motorcades on the motorcade, all the motorcycles had microphones on them, and everything was recorded. All right. So what they did is they set up a gymnasium, and whatnot, and they set up the recording in there to get the vibrations of the sound of where fires and gunshots came from. And when they did that, they came to the conclusion that shots came from more than just one direction. That was their conclusion. And hence probably the grassy knoll. So there's that, and then anyways, yeah, he fires the shots, he takes off. Then remember they say that the scope to the gun was knocked off, so they're like wondering how he got to make the shots. So fuck all that, dude. He dropped the fucking gun. The scope got fucked up when he dropped it. End of story, right? So he leaves. He gets caught up. He's already on camera. And you can already see it now in videos where he's saying, "Hey, I'm a patsy. I'm a patsy," meaning that like he got staged, right? Like he thought he was something a much bigger order, and he just got played out like a stupid pawn. Which, hey, so anyways, he's in jail for a little while, gets out, right? And what ends up happening is Jack Ruby comes out, the Italian gangster, strip club owner, came out there, and I'm assuming he loved JFK, goes out there and kills Lee Harvey Oswald in front of everybody, in plain sight. Bang, bang, right in the fucking stomach. Dude gets killed. Lee Harvey Oswald's dead. Now you've got Jack Ruby. Now Jack Ruby gets locked up, keeps his mouth shut, right? Now check this out. This is no knowledge too, so it's not like I'm like telling a fucking secret here. So now his psychiatrist comes along. And his psychiatrist, come to find out, was a CIA operative, MK Ultra. And to that guy's credit, before I go into the story, Jolly West is the guy's name, the psychologist. Jolly West, the CIA operative. To his credit to our country, before I go into the story, because I don't want to beat up on the CIA, because everyone's like, oh, CIA is like, it's like, dude, I'm sure that they all fucking suck, dude. I'm sure it's just a small part of them that fucking act out, and the rest of them are fucking fantastic. So let's just go with it. So basically, when we had U.S. soldiers coming back from Korea or China and other countries like that with communism, whether if they became POWs or even just in plain public, staged publics, these soldiers would end up becoming, unbeknownst to their own psychology, but because the psychology is on them without their knowledge, that they would become brainwashed before they came back home. So they'd be brainwashed into America sucks, America's this, America's that, ba 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 ba. We're good, they suck, and everyone's doing that. So, and it's not just that, and then there's actual torture methods that go along with it, all the different schemes that go along with it over amount of time. Lack of sleep was a big one that he noted, and the lack of sleep was the big one. You know, just and all the other things that come with them having a lack of sleep, being busy, confused, whatever. You know, setting them off, making them pop. You know, make them pop. So it's like it's a lot of psychology involved. So they all come back, they're all fucked up, all bug eyed. Ooh, you know what I mean? All want to fucking, you know, turning into murderers and crazy crimes and shit, and just fucking going into mental hospitals, and whatnot, just fucked up messes. So he's fixing all this shit, reverse engineering their minds, being like, okay, here's what all the problems are. Some people you can fix, some people you can't. You know, it's just depends on how much damage is done, what happened. So, you know, a lot of that going on for people coming back that are all fucked up, and it has to be fixed. You can't just ignore it. Then it just goes out of control and everyone's brainwashed and you lose everything. Fucking it doesn't even make any sense to let that shit happen. So that's what he was into. He was into the fixing military and things like that to keep it healthy, so that the psychology was strong within the core of America. But anyways, so for what reasons, who knows? You know what I mean? I don't know. But so he's the psychiatrist. He goes to see Jack Ruby, and Jack Ruby, of course, you know, was an intelligent guy. He was running strip clubs. He's a gangster. He remembers shit. He's a names guy, whatever. And then once he started for 6 months, for 6 months, he got seen before Jack Ruby was seen before he got to testify on why he did why did you do what you did? Why are you there? What's going on? So in his cell, it becomes noted by correctional officers that Jack Ruby was found in his cell, freaking out, seeing like things under his bed and shit like that, or hiding under his bed, and just going insane, you know. So by the time it was ready for him to be testifying, lights out. So that's pretty much it with that, and that's what I've got there. But let me see. My phone said I've got 5% left on it. Damn, I didn't charge it enough. So I got a lot more to talk about. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to end it right now. I'm going to charge my phone. I'm going to put another podcast on because I got more to talk about. And that's it. So that's with JFK. And then with that, I'm gonna go on to some more things on the next one. We're gonna talk about Operation Paperclip. We're gonna talk about the Manson murders, the Tate murders, Tate, and then we're gonna talk about Aaron Hernandez and the staged murders, and we'll get into that conspiracy theory because I got a lot to go with that. So I'll give you a heads up. Actually, I'm gonna put them all up at the same time. So enjoy, and I'm gonna get right back with you. So peace out. I love you. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you like this, please like it, please share, please subscribe. You know, share and subscribe. I'd appreciate it very much. The Mayan calendar, 2012. Seeing you here from New England. I'll charge this up and I'll get back with you. Have a nice one.